Imagine being kicked out of your best friend's house after 15 years of friendship. Imagine losing not just your home, but your clothes, your memories, even the handmade gifts from your grandmother, all stolen by the very people you trusted the most. That's exactly what happened to me. But here's the twist. When my so-called friend thought he could walk away scot-free, I became my own lawyer and made him pay for every single thing he stole. If you ever dreamed of serving justice to someone who wronged you, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready, because this is one of the most satisfying revenge stories you will hear today. I never thought a 15-year friendship could end like this. Dan and I had known each other since the 5th grade. He was like family. Through school, through adulthood, through marriages, we were there for each other. By 2015, both of us had settled down, me with my husband and Dan with his, but life had other plans. After years of pushing down feelings I couldn't ignore, I realized I was a lesbian. Leaving my husband wasn't easy. He was a good man, and we ended things with kindness and respect. But I needed to live my truth. That's when Dan stepped in. He and his husband were renting a big multi-bedroom house, and they offered me a room until I got on my feet. At first, it felt like salvation. I was free, I was single, I was finally myself. But little did I know, this house of supposed friends would turn into my biggest nightmare. At first, I paid rent on time, contributed, and adjusted. But Dan started renting rooms to more and more people. First, a young woman, A, who instantly became my partner in crime for nights out. Then another roommate. Then a controlling, toxic woman with a teenage daughter. And suddenly the fun ended. Dan grew jealous of my friendship with A. The new roommates stirred up drama. And soon, everything I did, every mistake, every misunderstanding was weaponized against me. One day, out of nowhere, Dan handed me a note. I had 5 days to move out. 5 days. After paying rent. After being promised stability. After trusting him as my best friend. I was disposable. I didn't know my rights. I didn't know that what he was doing was illegal. I just panicked. Thankfully, my dad swooped in like a knight in shining armor with his trailer and helped me move out. But not everything fit. Some of my belongings, clothes, vintage merchandise I sold online, even heirloom pieces from my grandmother, I had to leave in the garage temporarily. Dan's husband told me it was fine. I could come back for them. But when I returned, everything was gone. The garage was full of their junk, untouched, but my things had vanished. Even worse, when I looked on social media, there they were, photos of Dan wearing my clothes, his other roommates wearing my jackets, my shirts, even the birthday gift my sister gave me, and the heirloom clothing my grandmother had sewn, never seen again. My stomach dropped. 15 years of friendship reduced to theft, lies, and betrayal. And when I tried calling, Dan blocked me on everything. He was hiding, pretending I didn't exist. I was furious and heartbroken, and that's when I made a decision. If I couldn't get my friendship back, I was damn well going to get my justice. I didn't have money for a lawyer. I didn't even know where to start. But I had something stronger, determination. So I began researching tenant laws in Minnesota. And what I discovered lit a fire inside me. Dan had broken the law. You can't just kick someone out with 5 days' notice when they've been paying monthly rent. You must give at least 30 days. And you must safeguard their belongings for up to 90 days. Dan had not only broken the law, he'd laughed in its face. So I gathered every piece of evidence. Text messages, photos, proof that my stuff was missing, proof they were wearing it. I sent formal demand letters. They ignored me. Fine. If Dan wanted to ignore me, I'd see him in court. When the court date arrived, I was ready. I walked in alone, no lawyer, just me, my folders, my evidence, and my rage channeled into preparation. Dan didn't even bother showing up. The judge reviewed everything, the photos, the messages, the timeline, and then he ruled in my favor. I was awarded nearly $3,000. Victory. Sweet, sweet victory. But here's the thing. Winning a judgment is only the beginning. Getting someone to actually pay is the real battle. For months, Dan dodged me. He moved houses, blocked my calls. Even when I tracked down his husband, he sneered, "You'll never get us to pay." That was it, the final spark. If friendship was dead, if kindness was dead, then so was mercy. I filed for wage garnishment. If he wouldn't pay willingly, I'd take it from his paycheck. But every time I sent the documents, they came back undeliverable. Dan had disappeared, and without an address, I couldn't garnish a thing. Just when I was ready to give up, an angel appeared, an empathetic court clerk named Joan. She dug through records and quietly gave me Dan's new address. With that, the papers were finally delivered. But Dan's next move? Pure cowardice. He filed for bankruptcy. He thought it would erase my judgment. But here's what he didn't count on. Bankruptcy doesn't clear debts gained through malicious intent. And I had proof, photos, evidence, everything. So once again, I studied. I filed. I prepared to take him on. Not in small claims court this time, but in bankruptcy court. On the day of the hearing, I walked in channeling Elle Woods, pencil skirt, determination, and every shred of confidence I could fake. Dan's face when he saw me? Priceless. He looked like he was going to collapse. His lawyer tried to scare me, spinning a ridiculous story that a landlord had cleaned out the garage and donated my things. I laughed in his face, because I had the evidence. Dan's lies were crumbling, and for the first time, he realized he wasn't in control. Before the judge even had to rule, Dan caved. His lawyer called me days later, desperate to settle. First, they offered $1,000. I refused. Then $1,000 plus monthly payments. This time I agreed. After 4 years, 4 years of being ignored, dismissed, stolen from, and lied to, I finally got paid. It wasn't just about the money. It was about the principle. It was about proving that no one gets to steal my things, erase my history, betray my friendship, and walk away untouched. Did the money bring back my grandmother's heirlooms? No. Did it erase the hurt of losing a best friend? No. But it gave me closure. And in the darkest time of my life, that money kept me afloat, literally keeping a roof over my head when I was struggling. Sometimes revenge isn't about fire and fury. It's about persistence, about refusing to be silenced, about standing up for yourself even when everyone tells you it's hopeless. And in the end, justice was mine. So, tell me, what would you have done in my shoes? Have you ever had to fight tooth and nail just to get back what was rightfully yours? Drop your story in the comments. I'd love to read it. And if this tale of sweet justice gave you chills, smash that like button. Subscribe for more and never forget, sometimes the best lawyer you can have is yourself.